I cannot come and sit here that मैं बिपिन भाई का बेटा हूँ और मुझे कल से आप respect करो. So then he used to give me a set of sales invoices, my dad, and tell me if you find one mistake, then I'll give you 100 rupees.
Oh.
So my entire effort was to find that one mistake, and the moment I found that, I used to go running to his cabin and say, "Where are my 100 rupees for the day?" You know, that. So dad actually in the year 2000 sat us across the table. You know, he's like, "क्या करना है life में?" So we were like, "Printmann."
Hi guys, welcome to Ink Stories, India's first podcast for the printing industry. I'm Sujit from ASM, your host for the show. We are 6 stories old. What a journey it has been. I'm inspired by every story. I'm sure you guys would have been inspired as well. Now, can I request you, can we take these stories to people outside? Not only from people from the print industry, but our friends who probably are not from the industry. Because we print for the world, why can't our stories inspire people from outside the print industry? Let us take these stories and spread them outside. So can I please request you again to share it with your friends, even if they are not from the industry. So let's not limit these learnings only to the people from the print industry. In fact, let's take it outside. So let's grow the SME industry in India. One more day, one more story. Today we have a story of an entrepreneur who at the age of 13 decided to be a part of the printing industry. It's a story about how his father and his elder brother helped him lay his foundation to join the printing industry. He also dons many other hats. He is an angel investor. He also is a mentor to a couple of new businesses. I'm sure you guys want to know about him and his story. He is Ankit Tanna of Printmann, one of the largest packaging companies based out of Mumbai. Before moving ahead, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do subscribe now. It will help us spread the word. Hi Ankit, welcome to Ink Stories.
Hi Sujit, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. And how about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
At the start
Thanks
of the new
for
year.
having me here.
It's a pleasure.
Yes.
I've heard a lot about Printmann. I'm sure all our viewers have heard a lot about Printmann, the printing company.
Right.
Your machines have been published in different magazines.
Right.
But here we are to talk about Ankit Tanna, the printing company,
Right.
the owner of the printing company, and his story.
One of the owners, let's
One of
put it
the
that
owners.
way. So it's obviously a teamwork, but
sure.
thank you for having me, and look forward to this conversation.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. And are we all set? Can we start?
Yes, please.
So, like we always start, the first question is like about where you began your journey, where you were born, and a little bit about your initial days.
Sure. So obviously, Printmann was started by my father. He comes from a family of doctors.
Okay.
So that's where he was slightly an outcast from the family. And his father then put him in a friend's printing press as a working partner.
Okay.
So that's where his journey in printing started.
Acha.
Before that, he used to actually work at my grandfather's clinic as a person who gives the medicine.
Okay.
So that's where our journey started in maybe pharmaceutical sort of a thing.
Okay.
And today we're one of the biggest pharmaceutical packaging players. So
Wow.
somewhere that
I'm sure he would have never thought that this is how it's going to evolve.
But somewhere you call about destiny. So it was started by him in 87. Humble backgrounds. It's exactly where we are sitting today.
Oh, it started from the same place?
Same place.
Wow.
And we bought on loan a 1300 square feet plant. And that's how it started. And today we have multiple plants across Bombay.
Great.
He started with commercial printing.
Okay.
From commercial printing, then did that for like 6-7 years.
Okay.
Then he got an opportunity in packaging,
Okay.
and somewhere he had the vision to see that commercial printing is not going to remain the same way 10 years, 12 years down the line.
Yeah.
And he got an opportunity and he took it with both his hands. And 94 is when we got into packaging. So we started in 87.
Okay.
And we started packaging in 84. So I was born in Jan 87.
Okay.
And we started this in Feb 87.
Okay.
So we'll complete like 36 years next month.
So you can claim yourself to be the good charm.
I wouldn't say that, but it sort of happened together.
Happened together.
Yeah. So that's how our packaging journey started in 93, 94.
Okay.
From there, we had a small setup in New Bombay. In Thane.
Okay.
and we started pharmaceutical packaging.
Still have it?
We've let that go on now.
Okay.
But started our journey with pharmaceutical packaging,
Okay.
and we stuck to that sector till now. It's
Okay.
like it's been pharmaceutical packaging, and we've given whatever the pharmaceutical packaging requires.
Okay. Some learnings on the pharmaceutical industry?
Well, learnings are if we are of the belief that it's one of the most stringent packaging across any sectors.
Okay.
Right. So if you can do that, I think the transition to the others are slightly simpler.
Okay.
It's also got its advantages because I think once you're in, you're in.
Okay.
So unless you really screw up, I don't think there's going to be an issue. The loyalty factor is much more.
Okay.
Plus, I think it's more of the raw material side, right? Pharmaceutical packaging. So it's very important. It's not a marketing expense for them.
Right.
So we like when it's a raw material and it's not a marketing
It's a part of the product.
Yeah.
Very much a part.
So yeah, I mean that's how it started, and then 2005 is when my brother joined Tejas.
Okay.
So he's done his printing technology from Rochester
Okay, nice.
and done an FMBA from NM.
Nice.
And I joined in 2010. So I've done my BMS from HR College
Okay.
in Bombay.
Okay.
And I've done my Masters in Finance from Manchester Business School. And I joined in 2010.
Great.
So there has always been, in spite of obviously the platform and all, there's always been importance of education. So we both are postgraduates, joined after being a postgraduate into the business. So that's been the personal sort of a journey.
So you feel that there is a difference because you've done your higher studies?
Absolutely.
Can
Sujit,
you
I think
put add some more to that for our viewers to understand?
So I'll tell you what, I think you cannot demand respect. I cannot come and sit here that मैं बिपिन भाई का बेटा हूँ और मुझे कल से आप respect करो. I think it has to be commanded.
True.
And I think education or university degree
True.
is part of that commanding of respect.
Absolutely.
That बेटा है तो BCom करके direct आके बैठ नहीं गया.
Correct.
It's like he's gone, he's done his education, he's gone abroad.
Right.
He's done it in finance, and after I came back, my first assignment was in the finance department.
अच्छा.
तो जब वो है तो करके कुछ आया है.
हाँ.
So it's not that they are telling me, and my first assignment that I had to report to my HOD finance.
अच्छा.
It's not that मैं आके उनके ऊपर बैठा. I learnt.
Okay.
So my first assignment was collection.
Okay.
In fact, कि भाई बहुत पैसा pending है.
So have you worked anywhere else, or this is your first?
No, so this is my first and only
okay employment.
job or work life, professional life has always been Printmann.
Okay.
In fact, I officially joined Printmann in 2010.
Okay.
But all my internships per se from 7th, 8th standard have been in Printmann only.
Achha. Some experiences from
Where
those
summer
days?
break was, क्या करेगा summer में? तो you want to go play, you play in the evening, but morning come for 2-3 hours.
Achha.
So I used to come and I used to talk to people. And
How old were you?
7th standard, 12, 13 years old.
Achha.
So and then when I come, then I get restless. So then he used to give me a set of sales invoices, my dad,
Achha.
and tell me if you find one mistake, then I'll give you 100 rupees.
Oh.
So my entire effort was to find that one mistake, and the moment I found that, I used to go running to his cabin and say, "Where are my 100 rupees for the day?" That way. So I mean, it's just been that.
Okay.
So yeah, coming back to your question, I think that post graduation helped us to start with कि भाई कोई ऐसे ही आके गल्ले पे बैठ नहीं गया है.
Yeah.
He's done his education.
Yeah.
Let's see what he brings to the table.
Yeah.
Plus, I did not come and sit on the director's chair directly.
Okay.
Tejas
You
and
earned
me
it.
both have sort of earned it by working in the department under the HOD, learning from them,
Right.
and then giving our inputs, something which is happening outside and not happening here,
Right.
and adding value there. I think that's extremely important.
Yes.
In fact, for anyone starting over, I think that's my recommendation to them. Don't come and sit on the chair and be
Try
on
to be the boss from the first day.
You can't.
You should
can't.
not. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
You have to command respect. You have to
Absolutely.
have it bottom up.
Right.
And I think that was very clear from my dad for both of us.
I think an amazing point, especially for the family-run business. It would be a wonderful set of pointer to think through.
It's long-term game, right? It's
Yeah.
not that I'm in this business for the next 3-4 years और फिर मुझे job change करके
कहीं
कहीं
और
और
जाना
जाना
है.
है. Yeah, I have to command respect from day one, and that comes from working under them
Right.
First understanding the system before coming and changing it.
Yeah.
So in fact, that way we worked across all departments that way,
Nice.
both of us,
Nice.
So you do that, and then obviously there comes a time where naturally you start earning that respect.
Right.
And then you, without making any announcements, you are automatically on that chair because you moved out of that department, you're sitting in a different cabin, and then automatically that respect comes,
Right.
that way.
Right. Right.
So I think that has been a very important part of our learning,
Okay.
that start from the bottom, earn your respect. And dad also was of the belief that it's a business at the end of the day. If at all a business doesn't do well for something or the other reason, we both are postgraduates to go and start our careers
Yeah.
somewhere,
Yeah.
finding a job or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I
True.
think education
True.
played a very important part.
True.
And the education as per what our likes were.
Yeah.
So I am a very typical numbers person, and
Yeah.
Tejas is a technical person,
Yeah.
So he did the printing technology.
Okay.
I have done my management, I have done my finance, so I am the numbers, I'm the supply chain guy.
Yeah, we read your
negotiations.
profile on your website.
Yeah.
It very clearly mentions.
So that's
that
what
you-
it is, right? In
yeah,
fact,
that's nice.
Sujit,
And
in
it so
fact,
relates with.
Absolutely. In
what
fact,
you're
there's a
saying.
small story, right? So we were in Thane and we had 15,000 square feet of operation space. 2002, we shifted to our New Bombay plant.
Okay,
So that was a 50,000 square feet plant. So it was a big deal that time.
absolutely.
So dad actually in the year 2000 sat us across the table. He's like, "Kya karna hai life mein?" So we were like, "Printmann, we want to join." He's like, "I also all want to join." So how we all want to do this? So that's where it was discussed in the year 2000. Me being 13 and he being 18, 19, that he's going to do this and he's going to go abroad and do the technical side, and I'm going to do the finance and the supply chain.
Nice.
And then it's all worked out that
Yeah,
way.
that's
So
nice.
building passion for the business before you join the business was also an integral part of my dad's
Yeah,
way
I think,
of organizing things.
Bipin bhai had an amazing vision to think that, get his children right at that early age to think that this is
Absolutely.
where they are going.
And he didn't force us. So it wasn't
I
like
can
कि
make
यही
out.
करना है. He asked us, आपको करना है तो मैं ये expansion करूँगा.
सही है.
He always wanted to do it, but he just got a reassurance from us.
True.
And then it worked out, right? 2005 is when Tejas joined after his education. 2010, I came back and joined. So it's worked out. We've added value,
Absolutely.
got that foundation, and now taking it to the next level.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Great. And it's been 35 years for Printmann as a
Yeah.
business, and almost I think 13 years for you.
Yes, 12, 13 years.
12, 13 years for you. So, what has been your, one of those incidences that you would say it stands out? I wouldn't say as a success or a failure, but you think that this stands out. If you can give us one each for success and failure, it would be great, but something that you can remember.
I'll tell you, Sujit, one thing I have to give. I can't be naive enough to say कि ये इधर से शुरू करके हम लोग इधर तक लेके आए. Me and Tejas have got a solid foundation. Right, so the foundation of the businesses were laid by him in such a strong way
Correct.
that our entire efforts or our entire successes have been to take it to the next level, building it. So he's given us a very strong X. Now we have to get it to 10X.
Correct.
Right. So in terms of success, as it is, I'm a believer that success is not related to an outcome.
Yeah.
It's about having incremental improvements.
True.
Every day.
True.
Or at every year.
True.
So there have been so many instances where system ही नहीं था, तो वो आके system set करना,
अच्छा.
उसको process बनाना, उसको SOP बनाना और उसको ऑटो पायलट पे लेके जाना कि वो एक 10 करोड़ की कंपनी के लिए जो है, it will be the same for a 100 crore company. The system and process, obviously there will be modification.
Absolutely.
Those have been the successes at some places where I have done it and some places where Tejas have done it. So if you ask me particular incidences, there have been incidences every year of successes and failures.
Yeah.
And honestly, failure is a very strong word. I don't think personally I have seen a very big failure in my life. I wouldn't want to say, अरे ये देखा उसके ऊपर से मैं बाहर निकल के आ गया. No, sorry, I have not seen that yet.
Okay.
There have been a lot of learnings.
Yeah.
So successes have been every year in terms of, every new machine you buy is a success, right? Because you're doing something right.
Right.
you're making that decision of growing.
Yeah.
So it's a success.
Okay.
Every new machine giving you an output in your revenue is
Okay.
a success.
Okay.
Right? Every new factory you're building, every
Right.
new product you're adding, every new client you're adding is a success.
Is one step moving ahead.
It's one step moving ahead. So as I said, it's not an outcome कि भाई 1,000 करोड़ पहुंचेंगे तो success है. It's about doing things better every year
Yeah.
and growing, becoming a offset of that outcome.
Right.
You know, so that's what we do.
Yeah.
And failures, luckily, there have been learnings mostly in terms of people skills. So
Okay.
I wouldn't call any failure as such in the last 12, 13 years of my journey. But there could be a lot of instances where I could have had better people skills. But no one learns that, right? From
Okay.
the day one. So in terms of people skills is something which I always feel I need to keep learning.
I can understand.
So on day one when I joined, the way I would handle things with, so the day one I joined, I was told to work under my HOD. तो मैं ईगो लेके तो आया ही नहीं था. मेरे को तो वो बोलता था भाई ये जाके फाइलिंग करो, तो मैं फाइलिंग भी करता था. मे बी व्हाट अ असिस्टेंट वुड डू.
Probably.
But learning out of people skills internally, how to handle people. So there have been instances where probably out of lack of experience, I could have done better.
Done
but
better.
important part is that you learn out of that.
Yeah.
And you don't repeat them.
Right.
You know, एक बार गलती, दूसरी बार बेवकूफ़ी. वो बेवकूफ़ी नहीं करनी है. गलती करते रहो because you keep learning out of that.
Okay.
That way. So no such major failures, very frankly.
Okay.
And successes, as I told you, we don't see it success कि ये किया तो हम लोग success है. It's about doing things.
It's been. I get the message. I think you've had a pretty comfortable journey and you're adding a lot of value to.
Yes, it's comfort in terms of because of the foundation was set. So I didn't have these early problems of ये business को
Set करना.
set करना है.
Foundation बन गया था.
Our whole focus has been that we've got such a good foundation now.
Yeah.
We need to build very fast.
Okay.
If you don't take advantage of that, what have you done?
Yeah. On this, I just want to ask you because there's different kinds of industries around us. You know the startups. There's so much
Yeah.
of things happening. Printing is still not that sexy industry.
Right.
So and you guys both you and Tejas have
Yeah.
studied abroad.
Yeah.
Did it ever occur to you, यार printing industry हम क्या करें? We could have probably done 10x somewhere else. ऐसा कभी हुआ है?
See, everyone has their own passions. So
अच्छा,
ऐसा
you like
नहीं
so?
है कि personal passion नहीं था. But I think our conversations of what we wanted to do in life started very early. As I told you about that incident in 2000.
Yeah.
You know, people who are 17, 18, 20 years old don't know what they want to do in life. I probably knew it at 13 कि I want to go do MSc Finance and join Printmann.
अच्छा.
So somewhere, if you ask me, there was no other option in my mind. It was
Okay.
not that it was forced upon me.
Okay.
So for me, this was sexy.
Okay.
कि भाई, I have seen my father build this from scratch
Right.
and got it till here.
Yeah.
I have seen his work ethic. I have seen his passion.
Right.
And if I continue with 70 to 80% of that passion with such a strong foundation, sky is the limit.
Absolutely.
With a team.
Absolutely.
So we obviously had him, and we still have him very much active.
Great.
Then he keeps saying that if you won and me won, 1 plus 1 will not become 2, it will become 11.
11.
So that was, so
And
we
with
always
three of
thought
you,
this was sexy,
Yeah.
and we are very passionate about it. But somewhere personal passions are still there, but that's not that यार ये क्यों कर रहे हैं, ऐसा टाइप का फीलिंग नहीं आता है
अच्छा.
ऐसे.
So how do you see the Printmann like 10 years, 20 years and where you see it going?
In terms of our vision, we want to be a global packaging player.
Great.
So I think we are one of the few or the only ones probably who are doing 4 products under one brand name. So we are doing
Nice.
cartons, labels, leaflets as well as aluminium foil.
Okay.
So the industry is more of carton players and leaflet players or label
Segment.
players. Yeah, segmented. So what we are trying to do is we've done these 4 products.
Mm-hmm.
And with the hope that these 4 products can become individual 4 businesses
Okay.
in culminating to a bigger group, packaging group, how global packaging players are,
Great.
where they have multiple products in one line,
Great.
adding more products as we go ahead,
Yeah.
and having a pan-India presence, global presence.
Okay.
Those are the things which we keep talking about. They obviously will take their own course as and when it comes.
Yeah.
But
once
these
you
are
have the
things.
vision, so you start working
You need
towards
to have
it.
the vision.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our vision talks about to being the most preferred packaging player globally. That's
Great.
our vision statement.
Great. So you're already exporting, if I may ask?
Yeah. So We are doing 20%, 15-20% direct exports already.
Very nice.
And since the past 10-12 years, we've been deemed exporters because a lot of our products goes abroad through our customers.
Okay.
So we track that because we get deemed export things and all on place that way.
True.
So we are already doing that. But point is to have presence now. The vision is to be the most preferred in terms of all aspects.
Yeah.
So if our clients are growing with factories in Africa, in Europe, and they are taking over companies in Europe, they would need a packaging player with that, right?
True.
It's like how an automobile
Absolutely.
industry works.
Ancillaries,
Exactly.
they start building around the
Yeah.
auto
So
network.
that's
And that's
the
a very
whole
good
thing.
point you mentioned. Actually, if you look at it, if each printer in the printing industry starts thinking in this way, say he has an X company, I'm not taking any
Yeah.
names, and if that company is starting a new plant in Himachal or now in Tamil Nadu or
Yeah.
Gujarat, you probably have an opportunity there.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the only way the industry can grow.
True.
I'm definitely not against, but there have to be a considerable amount of sizable players in the industry to have that respect.
Yeah.
Somewhere I think it's being too over fragmented.
Too fragmented. It is too fragmented.
I think then I don't think even the government sees it as a very big industry.
Yeah.
You need to have sizable players in the industry who are contributing to the India's GDP, where it needs to be taken seriously as an industry.
Yes. I think like we were talking earlier, print industry is probably the largest industry.
Yeah.
But we need to really start looking in that direction. Each company, like probably all of us in our own respective fields, have to add value.
Yeah.
So talking about the industry, how do you see the print industry going? I mean, the future of the print industry. Your
Future is
vision.
extremely bright. Extremely bright. I don't see paper going away. We can keep talking about digital and all of that, but I still like reading my newspaper, not digitally.
Achha.
I still use a diary and a pen to make notes, which I would look at 5 years down the line.
Okay.
Those are my personal things, but in terms of packaging, it is going to stay.
It is going to stay.
And
You
it's
can't
only
do without
going to
packaging.
evolve.
Yeah.
In fact, the per capita consumption of packaging in India is very at a nascent stage. We are less than 10 kgs, right?
Yes. And I think the global average is 80, if I'm not.
It would be 65, 70.
Yeah. So we've got huge job potential.
We've got 6,
Huge.
7 times packaging growth still there.
Yeah.
I don't see print industry having any sort of long-term risks other than maybe the things which can be adopted by technology.
Right.
Those you cannot control.
Yeah.
But something like a packaging, things which are required, specialized printing, I think the smell of getting that letter, on post, still a different feeling, right?
Yeah.
From getting those emails and
Absolutely.
all, 1,000 emails in a day. So I think even in terms of consumer way, I think it's only going to prosper from here.
Okay.
There are certain products which you cannot beat, so that will go. But otherwise, I see a bright future.
Great.
I'm a big optimist, maybe
So
slightly an over optimist.
you're going to bet your last penny into the printing industry.
I wouldn't say all my money is in the printing industry. That would be too over passionate to say, but I would definitely bet on this industry.
Yeah.
So, in fact, I have gone ahead and bet on 1 or 2 startups which are doing
Very
printing
nice.
and packaging.
Very nice.
So,
Can you share a little bit more about it?
well, not at this juncture. Probably
Okay,
cannot
no
share the
problem.
names.
But that's nice.
But point is, you spoke about betting your money, right? So I am betting on that because you asked me my passion. So my passion comes from being very closely associated with the startup world, investments.
Nice.
I'm a very passionate investor also.
Very good.
So somewhere, taking part of the family office,
Nice.
not putting all eggs into Printmann. So we have all these thoughts as well.
Very good.
So that where, the whole purpose, one of the purposes of meeting new entrepreneurs, learning from them.
True.
Something like what you have, your vision when we are doing this.
Yes.
That comes from learning out of new businesses, how they are doing, what are the initial struggles.
Right.
Because I have not seen those initial struggles,
Yeah.
So for me to be part of those initial struggles,
You miss something.
I miss it. I do miss it. Like, I'm glad I didn't need to go through it.
Yeah.
But I do miss
The
it.
other side of looking at it.
And plus, I think entrepreneurs who are like us, who are in this age bracket, I think these founders associate them more because of the age rather than someone who's 55, 60 and coming and them
Correct.
giving life gyan.
Correct.
I can probably talk to them in their language.
Right, right.
And I've seen 10, 15 years of business, so
You have
I
a fair idea of what,
भाई ये तू
how
करेगा
business
तो
works.
इधर ये प्रॉब्लम रोड ब्लॉक आ सकता है, वो रोड ब्लॉक कैसे अवॉइड करना देख ले.
They-
ऐसे.
Correct. Makes a lot of sense.
So yes, putting the money also, we are actually putting it as a family in
Very
certain
nice.
startups and this
Very
and
nice.
that,
Very nice.
which are associated with printing, packaging.
Great.
So it's got a bright future.
Great, great. So, moving ahead, you have your brother and dad, be part of the business. So, besides them, whom do you reach out to when you have some doubts and you need to talk about something?
So, two things. One is I take a lot of inspiration from books. I'm an avid reader.
Great.
So I read a lot of biographies about family managed businesses. I read a lot of self-help books. I read a lot of books on time management. So whatever learnings, I don't have a target कि भाई, people say मेरे को 50 book ये साल read करनी है. I am not of the believer that I need to read a number of books.
Uh-huh.
But it's about what I can take out from those books.
Okay.
So I'm one of those guys who will sit with a pencil when I'm reading a book and mark those things.
Achha.
And I make notes in another diary of mine of my learnings from that book,
Wow.
which I look back at again and again.
Nice.
And secondly, I'm also part of this entrepreneurship group in form of Ascent Foundation. I think you
Great.
are also part of it.
Yeah, I'm also a part of it.
So
yeah.
there I have a set of entrepreneurs where I really sort of run out of way to deal with things in my own business. I run it through them.
Yeah.
And they come across different age group, first generation, second generation, different turnovers.
Right, right.
So like a big problem for me is a small problem for them.
Yeah.
So we meet once a month, bounce off ideas, and I think those are my sounding boards. Other than probably obviously my family and my own people.
Absolutely.
The learnings which I get from the books and obviously this entrepreneurship group.
Yeah, I think Ascent, Harsh has done a great job in
Great job.
bringing up Ascent and helping entrepreneurs like us to get a platform to talk to like-minded people.
Absolutely, Sujit. I mean, I'm part of the governing council of Ascent now.
Wow.
So I get to sit up and close with Harsh once in 3 months to understand his vision for Ascent. And
Wow.
I did it is mind-blowing.
Something you want to share, some snippets?
It's just, I think his whole passion of helping MSMEs. He's chosen that I want the big corporates figure things out on their own.
They have the resources.
It's the MSMEs who do not have the resources.
Yeah.
And every big corporate will have a board of directors. Where is the board of directors for an MSME?
Right.
So I think his whole vision, whenever we tell him, let's pull in more money, he says no. He's like, money is not important. How can we get this? How can we help 1,500 entrepreneurs? How can we help 5,000 entrepreneurs?
How many are there in Ascent?
Right now
today?
there are 800, 900.
Okay.
So his vision is to have 5,000.
Wow.
And he says, whatever resources required, I'm there for y'all. Y'all work as a governing council.
Yeah.
Money is not going to be a thing, but I want tangible benefits in the MSME sector.
Great.
And he himself
That's something so strong to say.
so
no?
strong.
I mean,
and he invests so much of his own time. You've seen him in the talks, right?
I've seen him. He's putting in 5-6 hours. Someone at his stature,
Yeah.
being there personally. I mean, that's amazing.
No. He is. It's extremely. It's so inspiring to see someone doing this.
True.
That somewhere, if I get to help one MSME, I get like, yeah, I did something.
Goosebumps.
हाँ.
कुछ किया मैंने भी.
Kuch kiya, so when you share your learnings and someone takes out of something from that,
True.
it's like he's helping so many entrepreneurs,
Right.
that way. So I think it's just great.
Okay. And moving ahead about what do you see the legacy of Printmann or Ankit and your family? What do you want to be remembered as?
So as I've been accepting it that Tejas and me didn't have the initial struggles that way.
Yeah.
So what legacy I would want to leave behind is that we took a strong foundation business and built it to 10x
Yeah.
or 100x for that matter.
Right.
We all along this journey we remained humble. We stuck to the core values of the success of Printmann, what it was built on, and we took them in spite of our scale.
Mm-hmm.
And along the way we maintained all our relationships, and we've been there for our entire ecosystem, whether it is vendor partners, our clients, our people, our own people. we've been there for them for professionally as well as personally. So legacy is ultimately, you go empty-handed. So legacy is in how many people actually remember you.
Yeah,
And they will only
the
remember
impact
you.
that you could make. The question probably I had jumped a little bit,
Yeah.
but the reason I asked you about legacy is because Harsh is the wonderful legacy
Yeah.
that he's creating. I mean,
Yeah.
he would be always known for Parachute and the other wonderful brands that he's created. But I think the kind of contribution that he's done for the MSME sector with Ascent.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I'm sure it would have made you think, "Ki mera legacy kya hai? What am I leaving behind?"
Absolutely. So, as I said, we are sort of now early investors in startups as well.
Yeah,
So that's something which
true.
I'm very active angel investor.
Very nice.
Other than printing and
Very
packaging.
nice. So you would be amongst the few angel investors in the print industry.
Probably yes. So that's where I think the personal legacy comes out
That's
of.
nice.
That you are actually helping businesses in their scaling up
Absolutely.
journey.
Good
as
way
well.
of giving back.
Yeah, I'm part of obviously little bit whatever I can contribute. I'm part of the GC at the Ascent.
Okay.
So that helps the next 1,000 entrepreneurs
True.
with policies, systems,
True.
how they are going to.
True.
I initiate groups in Ascent as well.
Nice.
So somewhere about giving back.
That is your way of giving back.
Giving back.
Great.
So that is there. At Printmann's level, obviously there are a lot of things which we do, but that will be not the right thing to say that. But at a personal level, obviously helping businesses. Something which I've still not done and probably I would do in the future is go back to the classroom
Okay.
for probably sharing my experiences
Okay.
with a young set of entrepreneurs. That's
Okay.
something which I want to do.
Okay.
So I would want to go back to teaching, you can call it teaching or maybe sharing my experiences
Nice.
to a set of 20-25 year
Have you
olds.
started that or you
No, I
have
have
some
not.
plans? Okay.
I have not.
Okay.
It's something which I have a personal passion about.
Yeah.
So that's about leaving your legacy as well, right?
Yeah,
Helping
makes
students.
sense. Makes sense. Absolutely.
Because when I was a student, I heard the 55, 60-year-olds coming and saying, but when a 35-year-old guy or a 40-year-old, 40 under 40 वाला आके हमसे बात कर रहा था, there was a different connect.
True. True.
He used to have 1-2 slang words and
Yeah.
abusive words in between. अरे guy बोलता है. So
True.
I just feel that there is a big gap in the education industry
Yeah, I totally agree.
for people like us to go back
Yeah.
and talk to them, be a bridge between. A lot of them are family managed businesses as well.
Right.
What I have learned in my family, dynamics between first gen, second gen,
I'm sure
and
you'll
I'm
have
at this
some
in
wonderful.
between juncture where I've gone through the emotions
Yeah.
and I've reached a balance. So
Yeah.
guiding them on a second generation level
Yeah.
rather than listening only from the first generation.
Right.
Those are the gaps which are there, and I think somewhere, whenever time permits, I would want to go back to do that.
That's a lot of amazing work that if you can really do
Yeah.
that, because a lot of these entrepreneurs, like we were talking
Yeah.
earlier, the print industry, it's a relatively quite fragmented and family run businesses, not really very sure कि इसको आगे कैसे लेके जाना.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
probably they get some idea, it will really help them a lot.
Yeah.
On that note, one more thing is related to this question is about what would be your advice to people in the print industry. It could be beginners or you could give different advice, but
Yeah.
according to you, कि शायद ये ऐसे करते हैं तो it would be better for them.
I would not give advice to the veterans. I will give advice to the people joining the print industry today.
Okay.
It's something, and like I would say, rather than advice, it would be more of experience sharing.
Okay.
First is probably one regret which I had is that I didn't work outside for 2 to 3 years and then come and joined my family business. Why that is important is what new you can get to your own organization.
Okay.
You can only learn when you work somewhere else. Right? Otherwise, here you are clouded only by your education. There
Right.
you are clouded by a corporate world also.
Right.
So probably work outside for 2-3 years would be my one thing.
Okay. That's nice.
Second thing would be what I did. Do not start from the top. Start from the bottom.
Makes sense.
Every 2 to 3 months, work under the HOD of that department. Go work in HR, go work in finance, go work in operations. Work under, ask questions. Go talk to your people who are on the shop floor.
Okay.
Like pat them on their back. यार कैसे निकालते यार ये बताना मेरे को तो नहीं पता है.
Uh-huh.
Like be that inquisitive guy, have that connect with them.
Part of the team.
Yeah.
Bonding has to be there.
Yeah, bonding has to be there. So this entire thing falls into the bracket of you have to command respect rather than demand it.
true.
So we are a big believers of that.
True.
these two things I think is what I would like to give advice or suggestion, as that these two things are extremely important.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And do you like encourage people to start a business in the printing industry? What are your thoughts about it? I mean, the new guys, not the one who are already in business. Should they start by themselves? Should they go? Is this, though you said that it is a promising industry, but your thoughts
It is a
about
promising industry, but I would not recommend someone to start something like what we are doing from scratch right now. Honestly, the whole point of starting something in 2022 23 is finding a gap in the industry and starting that. Something like what Printmann is doing, there are other packaging players also doing.
True.
You are then getting into a rat race with someone who's already there for 30-40 years. You want to start, it is the right industry, but you need to find gaps. You need to find what are the gaps in the industry. Like, I'm not going to talk about success model or no, but Bizongo found a gap.
I think absolutely.
So
Makes
they
so
found
much
a
sense.
gap in the printing and packaging industry, but there was no marketplace for packaging.
Yeah.
Like that, if you want to start in this industry, one or two startups which I told you I have invested in, they have found gaps in the printing and packaging industry.
Nice.
So when you want to do that, then this industry is brilliant. But I honestly would not recommend, not because we are all unbeatable, the guys who are there, but it's not healthy to come into a rat race.
Find your sweet spot. Just
Find
because
your
someone
sweet
else is
spot.
doing it, don't get into it. Because probably just buy a small digital machine and start printing.
वो सेंस नहीं है
You
मुझे,
won't-
मेरे हिसाब से
it won't take
just
you
going to
anywhere.
put in, because ours is a very capital intensive industry.
True.
So you're going to put in lot of your own equity, your own money, your time.
True.
And then you're going to say यार इससे तो FD में ज़्यादा मिल जाता. But if you find your gap,
Right.
if you find your innovative product, or if you've thought of कि यार why no one has thought of this till now and I can do something about it,
Yeah.
that's where this industry is going to give you a lot of benefit and fruits.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think that's very insightful and
Yeah.
worth listening for all of viewers. It's going to be helping them a lot.
Yeah.
At least someone who wants to pick these nuggets of wisdom.
Right.
I think so. We are towards the last part of our
Sure.
conversation.
Sure.
Like we wanted you on our podcast, and you are amongst the first 20 guests.
Right.
So thanks for doing
Thank you.
this for
I
us.
have to thank you. I don't think you have to thank me. I have to thank you.
It's
So thank you for that.
because we are
It's mutual.
it's a new concept.
Yeah.
It's mutual. It's a new concept, and people were like, "Arey, what are you doing? Does
Right.
it make sense?" You
Right.
know, for believing in us in terms of,
Yeah.
"Acha yaar, kuch hai, chalo let's
Right.
try." You know,
Right.
when you are amongst the beginners,
Yeah.
that fear is always there. मेरा नाम खराब तो नहीं हो, because Printmann has a name to.
Yeah. So
stand
I'm
up
just
to.
glad that you've obviously started this, and I think it's a very it's a great thought that you're trying to get to people to know the entrepreneurs
Yes.
and not only the businesses.
Yes.
So I think it's a great thing which you've started.
That's the idea.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, we wanted you. Do you have someone in your mind that you would want to listen to amongst the?
So many people. I'll give you a list of names whom you can go and think.
Okay.
Obviously, they will know that now I've given it to you. But I think your first episode was circulated within our groups and all, and that time I told them, that. So I'm part of this group called STB, which is Share to Benefit.
Okay.
It's part of the BMPA, Bombay
Great,
Masters Printers
great.
Association. So there they told me that Denver has come here, and I was like, yeah, Sujit just got in touch with me also, and I'm doing it in first week of Jan.
Okay.
So probably you will find 2-3 people there, and I
Okay.
think
Some
I'll
names
let
if you want to share now.
there is a lot of guys. I mean, you could go and talk to Kumar Labels, Anuj. You
Okay.
can go and talk to. He's from Delhi,
Okay.
but again, he would have some great insights for the industry.
Great.
There is Fahim Agbotwala, who's
Yeah.
high
Fine.
tech.
Yeah.
He could also add a lot of value
Absolutely.
and share his experiences.
Sure.
out
Sure.
there.
Sure.
At the top of the mind, this, but I'll probably share some names with
Anyone
you.
other than printers? Like, because this is for people across the printing industry, not only
Yeah.
printers. So anyone that you have, like a paper supplier or a post press guy or someone, a machine guy, in fact, someone from any of the big machine companies, someone you think can be of
There would be names, obviously. I'll let you know as and when
please,
it comes
please,
in.
please.
But
As and when it comes, you can.
if the horizon is that big, then probably there are a lot of good guys whom you can talk to,
Absolutely.
which will add value to your viewers.
Great.
So I'll share that list with you
Please,
for sure.
please do that.
Sure.
And the last question is for us.
Okay.
In terms of how can we do it better? Any advice that you think that, in terms of this could be added and this could be done?
I like what you're doing, very
Thanks.
frankly. So I like this way of you coming to our offices and keeping a very comfortable atmosphere, not having it in a studio or anything like that.
We wanted to have it in a studio, but we thought that printers वैसे भी थोड़ा सहम जाते हैं. I mean, not you, but you can understand what I'm trying to say.
Keep it simple.
So we wanted it to be in their office.
Don't make it too techy and all. I think what you're doing is whatever I've seen till now is great. One probably thing I would tell you is don't go online in this.
अच्छा.
Keep it to this structure. Even if you need to probably go and talk to someone in Delhi, fly down to Delhi. Make the entrepreneur pay for it, but fly down to Delhi. But don't change the structure of taking it on Zoom and all of that.
Okay.
Stick to this. Let people subscribe to your YouTube channels and stick to this model. I think this model doesn't exist in the industry.
Right.
If you go back, then you become a webinar.
Okay.
The moment you talk of a webinar, you'll start losing interest.
Right. Nice
People have had
insight.
fatigue. Yeah. So I think this structure, what you're trying to do, having that personal touch and making entrepreneurs talk about their own lives, I think is a great way, and don't change too many things.
Great. Thanks on that.
Yeah.
Appreciate, Ankit. It's lovely talking
Pleasure.
to you. We are meeting for the first time. I'm not feeling that at all.
Same here.
It's great. I think we've got the Ascent Connect as well.
Absolutely.
And as I told you, I just want to put it on record for everyone to know that I got to know about Ascent through you.
That's great.
So thanks on that.
Part of my legacy, you can probably say that I'm adding people to the Ascent community.
Yeah, part of that. Yeah. So great. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me again, and keep up this work. I think it's a great thing. Thanks, Sujit.
Thank you. Thanks, Ankit. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye bye.